I was born into a family of extreme abuse, violence, and addictions. As a child, I never realized how those generational patterns would impact my future health and my relationships until I'd spent pretty much my entire life breaking cycles my ancestors had passed down, all the while raising 3 children and enduring several abusive and dysfunctional marriages. While residing in a family member's home this year, I had to unexpectedly flee due to encountering several patterns that I had spent several years in trauma-informed therapy, learning ways to manage and cope with CPTSD and mental health issues. Now homeless, I was terrified, facing an uncertainty, but for the grace of a divine power, I didn't know what I was going to do. I reached out to United Way and received numbers of several shelters. And on one of those numbers was the Bay Area Turning Point. The voice on the other end was warm, professional, and compassionate, and said they had space, and I started tearing up. It made me feel like I didn't have to worry about spending the winter on the streets. Everything I owned was in my car. Life in the shelter was vastly different than I'd ever experienced. And the first week I was there, I started crying, most especially for the mothers and the children. I thought about my own mother, raising 6 of us, and I wondered what would our lives have been if she had had a safe place to escape to. It gave me a lot of food for thought. Because of Bay Area Turning Points, programs, and resources, I was able to get a footing on my future and the next steps that I needed to plan. And because of their generous resources beyond the shelter, I was able to find a safe place to reside. And while looking for work, I wrote my memoir and about 30 poems about my living experiences, breaking cycles of ancestral trauma and abuse. I almost didn't make it out alive, and many of us don't. Having children was my impetus for breaking those cycles. And I wonder what it would be like if we had more resources that the Area Turning Point offers out in our world, not only for helping survivors get beyond surviving, but to be able to change and transform family environments into safe and healthier ones, where they were able together to learn how to cope with life's challenges without abuse, without addictions, and without violence. My children were my impetus, and it gives me the passion to help, to this day, find ways that create healing and transformation. I want to just say thank you to Bay Area Turning Point for helping me in a time where I did not know what was going to happen. And I also want to thank Bay Area Turning Point for giving me the opportunity to share my story. Thank you so much for listening.